Happy Monday, Gems. Alan here. As you know, I run the lifestyle website, The Gem, and my purpose is to kind of share small moments and experiences and stories from my life in hopes that you learn a little something and can go through yours with less stress and a little bit more joy. And so today I have a more mental health kind of related video for you, and so I just want to preface this by saying that this is by no means medical advice or information. This is just meant to facilitate awareness and discussion, and this is just some stuff that helps me personally that I want to share with you. And so I'm on this kick right now where I just want to clean out everything. I just want to spring clean stuff. I just want to get rid of all of the clutter, and I just want to live with less, and I just want more I want more space in my life overall, but especially in my house. And so yesterday, Sean and I spent a huge chunk of the day cleaning out the garage and trying to get rid of things and throw some things out, and then I started to work on my office. I got some stuff off my clutter shelves. I'm trying to make these a little bit more visually appealing for you when you watch these. And so after we were done, when I was just kind of sitting and reflecting on how it felt good to just get rid of some stuff and to reorganize some stuff, but it was also really hard because there's a lot of things that I'm holding on to. I have a lot of stuff in our basement that's from my dad and from my grandpa, and it's stuff that I'm I had this snow globe collection at his house, and he would get me one every time he traveled, and that was really special. And some of them are the really nice kind of glass and I don't know what the material that is, but whatever, ceramic type snow globes. And other ones are the dinky plastic ones, and some of them even had the price tags on them, but were three bucks. And so I had such a hard time getting rid of them, even though I know that they're probably not things that I'm gonna display in my house in the future, or the nicer ones, yeah, but not the little $3 ones. And that feeling was hard to sort through that and to clean that out. And it made me think about how we don't just hold on to stuff, we hold on to our emotions. And really, when I think about it, I've not just been trying to spring clean my house and my clutter, I've been trying to spring clean all of the different parts of my life. And to really think about what I don't have that I need, that I want to kind of build for myself, and also what the things that I do already have that I can get rid of mentally and materialistically. And I realized that in thinking about the things that I want to get rid of, the tendencies that I have that I don't want to have anymore, that the feeling feels really similar to that same feeling of throwing away those little snow globes. This isn't providing me anything, it's not serving me, but I feel like I can't get rid of it. And so a good example that I can think of in my life personally is that I've become really terrible at maintaining friendships, my whole life, but especially as an adult. And it's that feeling of wanting to change that, or wanting to get rid of that habit, is very similar to the feeling of needing to get rid of something. I feel I don't exactly know why I still have to have that feeling around, but I feel I can't get rid of it either. I can't, and it makes you feel really stuck, and it makes me still feel cluttered, and still feel there's stuff there that I don't need. But why are those things so hard to get rid of? And so something that I a strategy that I used for myself a long time ago, that I kind of forgot how useful this was for me until I started recently doing it again, was something to kind of spring clean, or just kind of clear out my headspace, and to get rid of, or at least start to get rid of, those thoughts and those patterns that I no longer need, that don't serve me, period. Because at one point in time, I was probably protecting myself from something, and that's why I was pulling away from friendships, but I don't need that anymore. And so there's things like that, and lots of thoughts like that I think that we all have, or lots of things that we're still holding on to that we don't need. And so how do we start to get rid of them? How do we start to clean out the stuff that doesn't serve us in our heads? And I don't know the answer. I don't know all of the answers. But I do have maybe a little trick that can help you get started, because it has helped me start it. And so it's a little bit silly, and I feel a little silly, or I did feel a little silly for a while when I did this. But then it started slowly becoming, once I realized that, well, this really does the trick sometimes, I got more used to it. So, spring cleaning in my head is really similar to spring cleaning in my life. And so what I do is when there's a thought that I notice that I'm consistently having, or a mental pattern that I see myself falling into over and over and over again, so the step one is that you have to start with a small thought. You can't you can't just dive right into getting rid of something big and meaningful to you that's kind of wrapped into a lot of areas of your life. You got to pick something to start that's minimal, that it's not really going to make a huge difference if it goes away or not. Something that there's not a lot of pressure around it for this to work at first. And so, for example, that might be something like, maybe you don't want to get quite so frustrated when you're in traffic anymore. Maybe when somebody is going 2 miles an hour in front of you, you want to stop having those thoughts about how terrible of a person they are, and how why are they doing this to you, and things like that. So it's something that would be nice for you to overcome, but it's not a deal breaker. It's not gonna make or break your life. And so what happens is, when I start to notice whatever kind of thought that I decide I'm going to do this with, and I like to write it down so that I can have a visual, a reminder of that this is the one thing that I'm working on at the moment. Whenever I start to have that thought, I think about my thoughts in my head, and I come up with a kind of material manifestation in my head of what a thought would look like. And to me, my thoughts are like sheets of paper, just white, plain computer paper, and they're written on them. And that's how my thoughts are visually in my head. And so when I have a thought that I don't want to stick around anymore, I visualize that thought on a piece of that computer printer paper, and I imagine it written out, and then I imagine myself crinkling it up into a ball and chucking it in the trash can. And the thing is that this is really not about whether or not that thought sticks around. It's really not about whether or not it works. Just the act of trying to do something about the thought rather than allow it to take stuff away from me is so powerful. So it's it might come back and I might deal with it again, but trying to do something active about it in my headspace goes so far. And so just by thinking about that thought and imagining myself crimpling it up and throwing it away, I'm no longer letting that thought have all of the power and the energy over me as it did when I thought about it and I was like, oh, I don't want to think about that. How do I change it? Because then you start to spiral in a more negative direction, and you want to do something positive and productive. And so little by little, I start to, whatever thought that I'm currently doing this with, the first step is just remembering to do it. And then the more I do it consistently, the less power that thought starts to have over me. The more of a habit it becomes, rather than something I have to remember to do. And then, so instead of getting really frustrated, oh, why am I letting this get to me? I'm just okay, time to take out the trash. Time to throw that away. And like I said, it doesn't always work, but it works more often than not. And I think it saved me a lot of mental and emotional energy over time. And now I'm kind of playing with doing this with some bigger things, and we'll see how that goes. But I think that we hold on to so much mentally and emotionally, and we're not born that way, because it all comes back to something or some experience or some situation or person that we encountered probably when we were younger, and all of these tendencies self-doubt and questioning our self-worth and everything like that, it builds, and it's something that little by little things add on to it, and then we're left with these patterns and these big boxes of stuff in our basement, metaphorically, that we don't need, that we don't know how to get rid of. And so maybe this isn't exactly the right strategy for you, but maybe think about some ways that you can just start to take out your mental trash or clean out your mental stuff. What things are kind of still lingering in your head that you no longer need to deal with, or that you can start breaking down and unpacking little by little, so that they don't have to cloud up your space, or just they don't have to make your head so heavy anymore. So let me know if that was helpful for you. Again, this is not medical advice. This didn't come from a therapist. This is just a little trick and technique that sometimes helps me to get myself into a better mental space. And so I hope that in some small way that this either helps you or inspires you to kind of think along a similar track and to find something that does help you clear out your mental stuff. All right, see you next week.